If the Pokemon world was real and you lived in the Kanto region, what would be your Pokemon team? That's a really fun and interesting question to answer, so that's what I'm going to be doing in this video right here. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who submitted Pokemon video ideas in yesterday's video. We received about 500 so far. I mean, even this video idea today that I'm doing was suggested in the form, so shout out to Jay Nixon for that one. And if you would still like to submit some ideas, I'll make sure to leave the form in the description of this video too. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Randolph. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we will be taking a look at the Kanto region and picking my top 6 Pokemon that I would have in my team if Pokemon were a real thing. Now, a few disclaimers before we do get into this. This is not the best competitive team. It's not for VGC or it's not for competitive battling. Of course, if we were a Pokemon trainer, this team would still need to take part in some battles, but I'm not going to be too competitive about it, okay? It's more like a combination of cool Pokemon, my favorite Pokemon, and if Pokemon were real, like in real life, which ones would I go with, you know? However, I don't live in London for this experiment. I do live in the Kanto region, so I am only restricted to the original 151. With that being said, I'm also not going to include any legendary Pokemon. While it would be super cool to have a Mew in my team, and I would definitely choose it, I feel like if we're taking this seriously, legendary Pokemon shouldn't be allowed, being as there are only one of them, or at least in certain regions, there are only one of them. I think that covers all the disclaimers. There might be a few more as we go, but for now, that's good. And before we get into the first Pokemon on this list, guys, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and turn the post notification bell on. Also, the Pokemon Rebel Clash TCG Booster Box and Elite Trainer Box pre-orders are now available on my website, pokerand.net. Okay, so the first Pokemon from Generation 1 that will make it into my team will be Pidgeot. Now, there are a number of reasons why this Pokemon makes it into the team. I think the main reason, other than this Pokemon being super cool, is the fact that it's a bird type, so it can fly and it can take me where I need to go. Obviously, in the Kanto region, we aren't fortunate enough to have what they have over in Galar with the Corviknight flying taxis. So we're going to have to keep it old school and do it the old-fashioned way by teaching Pidgeot the HM for fly. But other than that reason, Pidgeot has just always been a favorite Pokemon of mine. Obviously, it's the first bird Pokemon in the Pokedex. Is it the first Pokemon that we see in the anime? I believe we see it. Do we see a Spearow first? Or am I thinking that because that's where Pikachu gets attacked by Spearows? That's probably like the first major event in Pokemon, right? But regardless, I'm not going to choose a Spearow or Fearow. But yeah, to me, Pidgeot is a really majestic Pokemon. It's super cool. I love the design. And it's not awful in battle, especially if I use a Mega Pidgeot, if I do find the Keystone. So there we have it. Pidgeot is the first member of my real-life Kanto team. Also, keep in mind, this list is not in order, by the way. It's not like Pidgeot is my favorite Pokemon from Gen 1. It's just the first Pokemon that I chose while looking down the Pokedex. However, with that being said, the second Pokemon going onto my team will be a favorite of mine, and it is none other than Scyther, aka Scyther Energy from the TCG opening videos. I love Scyther. I've always loved Scyther. I don't even know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know what attracts me. Well, not attracts me, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what draws me into. That's even worse. I mean, just look at it. Look how cool this Pokemon is. It's a bug type and a flying type, which is not the best, I do have to admit, but I don't know. It's kind of cool, right? I mean, look, it's so sharp. It's just super cool, man. I can't think of any other words to describe it other than it's just cool as hell, man. I mean, it's just a badass, and it evolves into an even badder ass. What? But yeah, of course, Scyther does evolve into Scyther. However, with that being said, even if I did want to evolve it, I probably wouldn't. Even if I could evolve it in this video concept, I probably still wouldn't. I do really like Scyther, don't get me wrong. I think it's an amazing Pokemon and still one of my favorites in Gen 2. However, I think I do prefer Scyther over it. I'm not sure if that's the nostalgia. I mean, Gen 2 is still way in the past, but I'm saying Scyther was from the first gen when I first fell in love with Pokemon. I used to have a Scyther toy. I used to have a Scyther plushie, etc. So yeah, Scyther's always been on the top of my list in Gen 1 favorites. And I think it would be really cool. Also, it's not the strongest Pokemon out there, so I think it's not very unique, but I don't think everyone would include Scyther into their team, and that actually is a good thing for me. I kind of don't want my team to be a basic bitch team. However, more Pokemon on this list are very basic bitch Pokemon, so we'll get to those soon. But yeah, the second Pokemon to make it into my team is Scyther. Also, what will be really cool is after this video, if I could go and find someone who does like Pokemon artwork commissions, I could get like an actual like art piece done of me and then these 6 Pokemon. And then this is also an announcement, by the way, when I bring back my Pokemon playthrough series and I play through Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee or whatever, I can actually use this team in those videos. That would be really cool. I'm going to do that. Okay, so now moving on to the third Pokemon on this team, and one that probably is in, I'd say 90% of people's teams watching this video. I believe it was even voted in the top 10 Pokemon of 2019. But this Pokemon is, of course, none other than Yep, you guessed it, Gengar. Gengar has one of the best designs in the entire Pokemon universe, in my opinion. I mean, just look at it. First of all, it's a ghost-type Pokemon, which is cool in itself, but look at that smile. You know this Pokemon is always up to no good. But with that being said, if you can actually train one and get the better of it, you can use it for your mischief. You know what I'm saying? If you're friends with a Gengar, I think you're doing pretty good in life. And Gengar is, of course, really good in competitive battle. I mean, not always in VGC, but definitely in singles, I assume, I think. Also, and this is a specific reason why Gengar would be in my team, okay? So here's a little bit of a story time for you guys. All right, here we go. And also make sure you guys close your eyes. It'll definitely help immerse yourselves into this story. So picture this, okay? You get arrested. Don't worry about the reason. Even if you're a goody two-shoes, just accept it, okay? You've been arrested, right? And you get put in one of those jails where, you know, there's just one seat and it's kind of like a jail. You know what jail looks like? A jail barrier. The jail doors, guys. Come on. You get locked away in there and, you know, you spend the night perhaps. And there's a guard just down the hall, okay? So picture this. There's a guard down the hall and this guard has fallen asleep, okay? He's on a wooden chair with a metal desk and he's cockled back on the chair and he's snoring, okay? So yeah, he's asleep. He's asleep right now. You're in jail and you think to yourself, if I could just grab those keys, and by the way, you guys know what kind of keys these are. They're, it's a ring-shaped key ring, a big ring-shaped key ring with about 500 keys on it. But one of them is gold or something like that. You can tell which one is your one, the one you need, okay? You can see it there. It's either on the guard's buckle or it's on the table. You guys know where I'm going with this. It's been in about a million movies, and you can see that key and just think to yourself, if I could get that key, I could be free. I could open the door because this guy's asleep and I could leave. There we go. Job's a good one. But how, guys? How are you going to get through the metal barriers? How are you going to get through the metal bars? That right there is where we need help. However, enter in your Gengar, your Pokemon, okay? Gengar is obviously a ghost type, so get Gengar out of the Pokeball. He can just slide through the, well, not even slide through, he can just fade through the bars and get out of the jail. And then he can plod, well, I don't know how Gengar walk, but like he could plod along or float along to the key or where the guard is being asleep, and he can just take the keys, bring them back to you, and you're free. So that right there is why Gengar is in my Pokemon team. Although if he's a ghost type, how does he actually pick up the keys? Maybe he can make it float or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. So that's 3 Pokemon right there that are making it into my Kanto team. How about the next 3? The next Pokemon, the 4th Pokemon that I'm going to include into my team is definitely a basic bitch move. I'm not happy about it. I didn't want to put this Pokemon into my team, but it's just so good. And especially in real life, you can't not pick this Pokemon. I am, of course, talking about none other than Arcanine. Or Arcanine for all you losers out there. So originally I wasn't too sure whether Arcanine would actually make it into my final team. I didn't want to pick it because I knew that everyone in the world would pick this Pokemon. However, in real life, you have to realize this Pokemon would be so useful. Not only can you ride this Pokemon, I mean, it's so big, a lot of people in the anime do ride it, so I could go from A to B, obviously, if I'm not flying with Pidgeot, which is so awesome within itself. However, it was also super comfortable, man. Look at this Pokemon. Look at his mane. Look at his fur. You can tell, like, you'll be camping somewhere. You got a nice fire going. Arcanine is just there sleeping, and you can just like nestle in there and just, you know, go to sleep. How cool would that be? And of course, in its life before it became an Arcanine, and it's a Growlithe, it'll also be so much fun as well. Got a little puppy, little fire puppy running around. It's amazing, man. And Arcanine is actually really good in VGC. Not necessarily all aspects of competitive Pokemon, singles, etc. But especially in VGC, it can be a very good support Pokemon. So realistically, Arcanine has to be in the team. Moving on into the 5th Pokemon of my team right here. And a bit of an interesting one, really. It's going to be Dragonair. So not Dragonite, it's going to be Dragonair. The reason I didn't go with Dragonite, and don't get me wrong, I do love Dragonite as a Pokemon. I think it's a fantastic Pokemon. I think it's got great design. Very strong, of course, as well. But it's just that, for some reason, I'm always drawn more to Dragonair. I really like where Dratini and Dragonair were going. And while I do like Dragonite, like I just mentioned a minute ago, I would love to have seen a 3rd evolution stage that kind of had the Dragonair and Dratini design elements to it. But I just think Dragonair would be super cool in my team. Obviously, it's not as strong as Dragonite, but that's fine. Very majestic. Again, it can be in the water as well. And yeah, I don't know, I've always been drawn to Dragonair. And I think it's always nice to have a dragon on your team if you can. And obviously in the Kanto region, there's only one family of Pokemon that are dragon type, and that is the Dratini line. So yeah, Dragonair is going to go into my team. And I think it would go into a lot more people's teams if it was just a 2-stage evolution. So if it was just Dratini and Dragonair, I think a lot of people would pick Dragonair. And now it's down to the final Pokemon of my team. Now, okay, let me tell you the original 11 Pokemon that I had in this team. So I started with 11 Pokemon and I narrowed it down from that. And those 11 were Kangaskhan, Golem, Nidoking, Sandslash, Butterfree, Pidgeot, Golduck, Arcanine, Gengar, Scyther, and Dragonair. So the final Pokemon could be one of Kangaskhan, Golem, Nidoking, Sandslash, Butterfree, or Golduck. Okay, and it ended up being, drumroll please, Sandslash. I've always been a massive fan of both Sandshrew and Sandslash for a number of reasons. I think the first one being, obviously, the design is really great. The second reason is that in the anime, you know, the episode where it's Sandshrew and AJ or TJ. Is it AJ Sandshrew? Yeah, AJ. So for those who don't know, my initials are AJS. So when I was growing up, and even now actually, a lot of my family members call me AJ. That's kind of like my name, AJ, especially because my dad shares the same name that I do, the same first name. So AJ was a good way to kind of differentiate me from him. And obviously in this episode, AJ has a Sandshrew. Sandshrew! You guys remember it, right? It's the Sandshrew that's like super hench. It just trained in, it lifts weights all the time. It can go in water. Obviously it's a ground type, so it shouldn't be able to go into water like that. So I was always drawn to this episode and this trainer and then this Sandshrew. I also remember playing Pokemon Stadium, you know, the game mode where you can actually dig things up with Sandshrew. And I used to play with my brothers, and that was probably the only game mode where I could actually do well against them, because it was literally just tapping buttons as fast as you can rather than any other skill. And even though obviously I'm talking about Sandshrew right now, I actually don't dislike Sandslash at all. Sometimes you can have a favorite Pokemon in the, you know, the first stage evolution, but then when it evolves, you don't like it anymore. That's not the case for me. So if I had a Sandshrew, I would happily accept it, or I would happily allow it to evolve into Sandslash. And also this slot right here came down to the final two, and the final two was between Sandslash and Golduck. I always really liked Golduck growing up. I'm not sure why. So there we go. If Pokemon was to be a real thing, which I hope it will be one day, I hope they can figure that out, this would be my team. I know it's not the most well-rounded team in terms of the type matchups, etc. However, in real life, I wouldn't want that to be what holds me back from picking a great team. Unless we were actually doing VGC battles in real life, then obviously I'd switch it up. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really look forward to the day where I can use this team in-game as well, so hopefully I can set that up sometime soon. I've managed to pick up a Nintendo DS that will allow me to capture and record the screen on it, so I will be doing a massive series where I go through every single game in existence and play through them. Being as I did Pokemon Red before, I might start on Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu, just because I have the Switch, and that's like an easy way to record it, and then I'll go to something like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and I'll move on like that. Or if you guys want it, I'll record the virtual console and actually play literally Red and Blue, and then Gold and Silver, the actual original games, maybe. But anyway, that's more down the line thinking. For now though, like I said before, I hope you enjoyed the video. The question of the day today is going to be, what would your Pokemon team be? Please leave your teams in the comments down below. I would love to go through them and see what teams you guys are going to be running. Remember, it's Kanto only, and it's if this was a real thing, you know, in the real world. If we all lived in Kanto, but it was real life, if that makes sense, what would your Pokemon team be? Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you want already. I'll be back tomorrow for some more Pokemon content. For now, though, take care and peace out.